It's that time of the week again. It's time for the Cover Price Top 10 list. Will we get rid of Absolute Batman? Maybe not, but what's going to be in the top spot? Let's take a look at the books that made the list and maybe the reasons why. Up next on this video from Bronzeville Comics. Hello, panelologists. This is Jim from Bronzeville Comics coming to you with another video. Before we get started, please like, comment, subscribe. In the description of this video, you find links to my Instagram, my whatnot, my eBay store, and my email. So feel free to reach out to me. In the meantime, we have the Cover Price Top 10 list coming to you this week, the first week of December. And Cover Price is an independent comic book pricing service. They aggregate data from different websites, eBay, Heritage, etc., and they document not only graded sales, but sales of raw comic books as well. And they come out weekly with a number of articles and lists, including this, the top 10 list, which are the 10 books that are moving most in the aftermarket. A lot of these books are recent books. So let us jump in to the top 10 list. And coming in at number 10 on the list is the DC All-In Special. This was kind of a quiet key that is gaining more momentum as it is the first appearance of the Absolute Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman. This book came out in October, and it is selling for about $10 to $15. 9.8s haven't really hit that much of a height yet. And if we go to Go Collect, which also aggregates the census data, there are only 7 Universal 2 signature series on the census. They're all 9.8s and not really a sale in the last week. One sale of $80. We see these sales of $70 and $80. That has not changed in the last week. So not any movement in graded books on this. I imagine there are going to be more graded books going out, but we will see about that. Again, book's been out for a few months and there are only 7 copies on the census. I'm sure that will increase. The book quietly marked the first appearance of Absolute Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, and the universe in general. Most fans didn't realize that, as talk at the time was more focused on the appearance of Absolute Batman and his bat emblem than anything else. Now that fans realize this book holds not 1, but 3 major first appearances, they are doing their best to track down copies at a tolerable price. Let's go to number 9, and it is Mark Spear's Monsters number 2. This is a book that came out 2 weeks ago. The A cover hit the top 10 list last week, and I was saying this was a cover that should hit the list, and sure enough, it did. This creature in the Black Lagoon carrying this poor young lady in the bikini. That is going to be something that I can see being popular with fans. It is the cover C. And again, there are tons of covers for this. There's a Batman 423 homage, a Bird City Comics Wicked Witch, which is a second print limited to just 200. There's variants to Spawn. We'll get to some of the others. There's a EC Comics homage. So very popular in terms of the homages here. And this is hitting the list at number 9. While not the most quote popular unquote cover offered for this book, it's moving some copies. Part of that may be the price factor or desires the creature from the Black Lagoon as a large fan base, albeit one that hasn't gotten much attention over the years. However, this book also doesn't feature a super well-known homage, but that hasn't stopped it from landing on our list. I don't think it's the homage. I think it's the good girl art that is going to drive this book. This is the cover I picked up of this this series for issue number 2. Let's go to number 8 on the list. And it is Absolute Batman, number 1, 3rd print, Nick Dragotta Inks, 1 in 25. This Gotham Zoo, there is a Gotham Zoo part of the story arc of Absolute Batman. And this book is going for about 30 some odd dollars. Probably a pre-sale of a $98 and $96. It came out last week. If you print it, they will come. When it comes to Absolute Batman, that is, DC is printing them up as fast as they can, but fan excitement is still through the roof and copies are snagged up like hotcakes. We're at least getting some interesting covers on these reprints, with this ratio variant sporting a poster from within the story that helps flesh out this version of Bruce's origin a little further. It's a ratio fans are after in a big way and willing to pay for. Let's take a look at number 7 on the list, and we're back to Mark Spears Monsters issue number 1. This is the cover A. They call it the Looking Down on You cover. And we can see this is going upwards of $100 for high grade copies. You know, there are 9.9s evidently on the census. Let's take a look at what we have from Go Collect. According to Go Collect, I want to see if this is recent data. There are 10 on the census, 2 9.9s, 7 9.8s, and a 9.6. So let's take a look at the 9.8s, because the 9.9s are selling for over $200. The 9.8s are still selling for well over $100. But again, only 10 Blue Label and 1 signature series has come to market. The vast majority of these are going to be 9.8s. So it remains to be seen how many more will be coming through CGC. This being this series just jumping all over the list, and I think it's largely the covers. Here's another book that's been hot for weeks and is still going strong, albeit at a reduced clip. As more fans continue to discover this series, there will be more who want to secure a copy. Macroeconomics is still at play here, with demand outpacing supply, causing prices to shoot up. Still, this cover A has a whole gang on the cover, a feat of its own, and a major reason collectors are opening their wallets to secure a copy. So again, it's based on the Universal monsters, at least, you know, in the way they look for the most part. And the having all of the characters on the cover of number 1 is kind of makes it the cover to have, other than, you know, covers that you're just interested in for the artwork. Let's take a look at number 7, and it is Mark Spears Monsters number 1. This is the cover E, the Bridezilla variant. And this one is going absolutely bananas. I mean, high grade copies for $200. Wow. Let's take a look at the Covrprice data. I think this is updated, and this is interesting. So yeah, they're very interesting. 15 copies on the census, 9 Universal and 6 signature series. 3 of the 6 signature series got 9.9s, and I imagine those came straight from the publisher. I'm gonna guess, but nothing below a 9.8 in this book so far. And if we look at this, yeah, the last 2 sales are $500 and $399. That is bananas for a book that just came out. This is the cover to have in terms of its popularity. We'll see what the long range implications will be, but man, this series has come out of nowhere and really been in high demand. I don't know if there are any available. Doesn't seem like there are any graded copies available. There'll probably be more coming out. It will be interesting to take a look at the CGC census as weeks go by. Let's go. So if we go to the article, this book feels like the catalyst for the monster's explosion in popularity. Folks were already interested, but when this cover dropped, it turned into mania. This book was selling like crazy and still is, albeit with much fewer copies trading hands. Its popularity has exploded the barrier of entry, with many fans being priced out as it continues to climb. But those who bit the bullet secured an incredible book to enjoy for years to come. I wouldn't spend $400 on this book by any means. Maybe you can find a copy out there that's still hanging around on shelves, but I imagine most collectors have gobbled this up. Let's go to number 5 on the list, and it's Mark Spears Monsters number 2, Bird City second print Wicked Witch variant, which is limited to 200. This is not coming out until January 2025, and it's already trending for between $50 and $75. Having a Wicked Witch homage is quite clever. In the current pop culture zeitgeist, as we just had 2 weeks ago the release of Wicked. So what a perfect time to drop an homage featuring a Wicked Witch right as Wicked hits theaters. If this list is any indication, Mark Spears Monsters has been nuclear lately. Then Bird City hit us with this cover, and the fan base went wild. This pre-sale sold out in 2 minutes. and fans immediately pivoted to the aftermarket to secure a copy. It's going to be a tough one to secure, as once again, it is severely limited, only 200 copies. But with all the fantastic covers dropping of late, there will be numerous other covers to hunt. So, man, this particular series, and this is issue number 2, not even issue number 1 anymore, is just, going bananas. I have to read this because I'm kind of interested in what the story is like. So, and again, we have plenty. I'm trying to, so 3 is in pre-release. I just want to take a look at issue 3. Okay, Frankenstein in the electric chair. Dracula and Brides. Homages to the Marvel 25th anniversary. That's kind of fun. A metal variant. And yeah, so some other variants. So there are going to be plenty of variants of this book. So that is something to keep an eye on. Let's take a look at number 4 on the list, and this is Venom number 39, the first cover appearance of the all-new Venom. This book selling for $15 to $20 raw, new book. We've mentioned Venom has been hot as heck lately. Much of that is thanks to his recent run, film, and overall hype. Fans love this new era of Venom and got a sneak peek at what was coming down the pipeline with this book. The cover features the first appearance of the all-new Venom, aptly subtitled Foreshadow, because it did just that, a little tease to gather fan interest before release, and boy, are they interested. Let's take a look at number 3 on the list, and here's an old friend, Absolute Batman, number 1, the Nick Dragotta cover A, and this is going for $30+, around $100 and 9.8, which really isn't a change from last week. We can see there are 128 copies, blue label copies on the census. 96% of them are 9/8. And again, the recent sales, from the last week, 100, 115, 89, 110, 94, 100. It's a $100 book in a 9/8. And just over 100 copies available. There are going to be a lot more than that, I would imagine, as time goes by, just because it's a submittable book at this point. If you can get $100 for it, I think people thinking it will. I don't know if it's going to increase in value. That's always the danger with new slabs. There isn't much more to be said about this book. Batman is back, baby. At least this new iteration, the fan base can get behind, much like the New 52 run. The Absolute Universe has been on a tear, and it's hardly slowing down. We tracked 88 copies sold, yada, yada, yada. Let's go to number 2 on the list. And this is Venom War number 5. Cover A, the introduction of the all-new Venom symbiote. $10 to $15 book. This book marks the first appearance of Agonrock, the anti-Carnage. That would be Carnage backwards, I guess. Did Zatanna do that? With the emphasis on anti-Venom lately, we were likely to see a Carnage opposite pop up. We did, and the fan base has been all in, propelling this book all the way to the number 2 spot on our list. Many fans missed out on the debut of anti-Venom, and with that reminder in the back of their mind, they were not about to miss out again. And what is number 1 on the list? Mark Spears Monsters number 2. This amazing Spider-Man 601 homage from Ultimate Comics, limited to 500, and people are spending $100 on the book. That's up there. It's a lot of money. Hot dang, it feels like the hits keep coming with this title. Mark Spears Monsters has been an absolute smash since it debuted, but they're doing something a little different than many other companies. They're giving the fan base what they want. Monsters are in, especially the classics, paired with Bucks and Babes, and homaging some of the biggest covers of modern times. Of course, this book homages the popular J. Scott Campbell cover that put him on the map and was with a severely limited run, 500. This book was bound to be hot once it hit the market. If these numbers are any indication, it's continuing its upward trajectory, but quickly reaching a pricing threshold that makes some tap out. But there are certainly those who have no inhibition about dropping a stack of cash and will continue to do so. According to Mark Spears' team, this series is breaking records out there. Our number 3 pre-orders 9 days before FOC were 16.7 thousand. So we are hoping to break 20,000 after FOC. We are the only comic to climb in number 2 in modern history with a 29% increase from issue number 1. That's just plain incredible. This is not a flash in the pan, but a market pivot in real time. We track 67 copies sold. Now, is this going to be, and I do want to read the story, the story that's going to carry this and people continue to be interested, or this essentially going to be the new Do You Poo with homages? Then, are people going to be interested about the characters, and is it going to appeal to a broad fan base? We'll see. And that's kind of the fun of following comic books, see what happens, and see if the books that you have increase in value. Let's take a look at the runners up, 11 through 20. 11 is Captain America 113. In a Captain America Brave New World trailer, a brief glimpse of a military funeral is shown. Since the beginning, fans have speculated that this is Steve Rogers' funeral. The theory faded due to not having any supporting evidence. Well, resurfaced again as a popular fan theory. No evidence, but, this, I think, this is Steranko cover. This, 12-cent cap. High grade book, you're going to pay for it. Absolute Batman #1, Mitch Gerard's variant. Cardstock cover. Mark Spears Monsters #1, the Hulk 181 homage. That is with Yeti instead of Wendigo and Werewolf, the Werewolf and Frankenstein. That is fun. Mark Spears Monsters #2. Guess Who's Back? That's a homage to. Is this homage to the Craven thing? Absolute Batman #1, the Jim Lee cover. At 16 is Mark Spears Monsters #2, the Spawn #1 homage. Spider-Boy #11 with the first appearance of Spider-Girl, jumping in at 17 on the list. The Mark Spears Monster, we talked about this last week. The Trick or Treat mole error, where there's like a printing defect that put a little spot on the back of the woman's shoulder. That isn't in all the copies. I don't understand. 19, Scarlet Witch #7, the Ivan Talavera 1 in 25 variant. It debuts Wanda's successor, young sorceress named Amaranth. She looks familiar. She first debuted on the cover of Scarlet Witch #9, New Champions variant. And at 20, holding on from the Deadpool Wolverine movie, is X-Men #251. So that's going to do it for the top 10 list this week. We hope you enjoyed it. If you did, you'd like to take a look at other videos, I have other videos here you can take a look at. And this is Jim saying until next time, enjoy your comics.